And so I'd like to start right in. The first item on the agenda is going to be the AC on docket proposals report, and I'm going to have Dan Alexander come up and give that.
Morning, everyone. So we're going to talk about a few proposals today and tomorrow. One of which is 2015-3, and this is to remove a 30-day utilization requirement in end user policy. This proposal is actually in a recommended state. So what that means is, based on the discussions here and in its final review, it's actually eligible for the AC to recommend it to the board. So we're going to be discussing that this afternoon, and you're going to help us determine if this is in fact good policy and all the requirements have been met and it's able to move forward. There's also 4 other draft policies on the docket. 2015-2 we're going to talk about this afternoon, 2015-7-9, 2016-1, those will be talked about tomorrow. Your feedback is going to help the AC determine if these are able to advance. They must be fair and impartial, technically sound, and supported by the community. These are some of the main criteria that the Advisory Council uses in review of the proposals. So your discussions will help determine whether or not these proposals should move forward or potentially be abandoned. But for these 4 draft policies, one thing to note is they're actually not eligible to move to a last call state at this time. There's also, during the lunch sessions today and tomorrow, there's designated tables in the room that will have 4 different topics on them that if you would like to discuss those topics, you can sit at these tables. One of which is, anyone interested in joining the Advisory Council, you have a chance to sit down and talk to some of the AC members, see what it's like, get your questions answered, and hopefully, we can interest several other people in joining and helping serve on the Advisory Council. The other 3 topics, one is whether or not there's a different way to look at need. We often, for the past several meetings, we're always debating, who should get resources, who should be able to transfer resources. And we're really interested in exploring other ways, if it's possible, to evaluate what it really means to need these IP addresses. The other topic is IPv6 for small organizations. Are there policies currently in place that are prohibitive or make things difficult for small organizations to obtain the IP addresses that they need to build their networks? And the last one is the board has passed a fee schedule that's going to be implemented in July, and that changes the structure and how ARIN organizations are charged for the resources that they have. And the Advisory Council is really interested in see if there's any policies as a result of these changes that are coming up that should be made to better manage the address space. One of the other reasons we also came up with some of these table topics is we're trying something a little different this meeting, in that tomorrow afternoon there's a policy simplification session. And the last 3 topics there are some of the main points that we're going to be looking at now that the ARIN free pool has depleted. We look at this policy manual that has evolved over many years and has a lot of special circumstances incorporated and things to preserve, the free pool. The Advisory Council wants to take a step back and look at how much of this really applies going forward and what changes could we make so if we could potentially simplify the manual, making it easier to deal with, potentially people forward, getting their records in line, updating who is. In addition to these topics, there's also the ability to have a breakout room. So if somebody has an idea for a proposal or wants to, sit down and discuss with a couple people an idea or an issue that they have with policy, you can reach out to any AC member and we can arrange a separate room if you want, a quiet place to talk. And that's what's coming up.